What's up guys? A lot of people in the Gel Blaster community believe that if you go too high in velocity above 300 feet per second, that the accuracy of the already terrible Gel Blaster will only get worse, and to the point where it's not even worth going higher. Well, today I'm going to be sending gel balls at over 400 feet per second to test whether that's true or not. I've also had a bit of a flu for the past week, so excuse my voice. Now, before I get started, I just want to quickly thank Safari Zoomer Tactical here in South Australia for lending me this HPA M4 blaster for the week to conduct this test. Even if you live up in Queensland, you can still buy blasters from Safari Zoomer. They'll just come with a deactivated South Aussie serial number engraved on them, which maybe that could be a cool talking point at your next Gel Blaster game. Check them out at the links down below. Now, this HPA M4 is a completely custom build, so I'll give you a quick overview of the blaster. The outer shell, or base blaster, is the G&P Gazelle M4. It's a very high quality metal blaster with no movement at all between the receiver and handguard. Polymer pieces include the grip, fire select, fake bolt release, and the buttstock. Inside, it has a retro arms gearbox, housing a Polarstar F2 HPA engine which sends your gels through a 350mm long 7.3mm internal diameter stainless steel barrel. At the end of the barrel, there's a VL Tour Mock suppressor, protecting an adjustable aka branded Gel Blaster hop-up. Out the bottom of the grip is an air line which I connect to an air tank Safari Zoomer also lent to me. On top of that bottle, it has a Wolverine high pressure regulator, which allows for a higher PSI setting than the one I used in my pistol video. At 85 PSI, it's shooting around 290 to 300 feet per second. At 115 PSI, it's shooting around 330 to 350. But today I'll be running it at 150 PSI, which is giving it somewhere between 420 and 440 feet per second. And on full auto, it's pumping out 30 gel balls per second. There's one more feature I want to show you in case you've never used a HPA rifle before, and that is that inside the buffer tube there's a tiny 7.4 volt battery powering a fire control unit. This FCU allows you to set burst modes, adjust rate of fire up or down, or even program more technical HPA related settings like dwell. Because it's powered, you also get to use standard Gel Blaster mags with internal motors like the SLR mags I'm using here. Overall, HPA blasters tend to be a little more reliable and more instantaneous on the trigger pull compared to an AEG. But you do need to cart around the tank all day and make sure that's refilled between games. But now that I've introduced you to the blaster, let's get to some target shooting. I'll begin pretty easy. Here's how it shoots at a close range distance of only 20 meters.
Alright, 20 meters.
At 20 meters, pretty much every shot is on target with one outlier down near the 65-foot writing in the bottom left. I'd call this a 1 meter spread at 20 meters with a 430 feet per second blaster. Pretty much in line with what you'd get from a lowered 300 feet per second blaster. So far, accuracy does not seem to have decreased with higher velocity. And now let's step back to 30 meters and see how that goes. At 30 meters, the spread starts to get wider than the target itself, particularly on the vertical. I'd call this around a 1.5 meter grouping. Short bursts will still guarantee a hit on an enemy player at 30 meters, so it's not really any worse than most 300 feet per second gel blasters at this distance. Having concluded that velocity, at least with hardened gels, doesn't seem to impact accuracy, I then stepped back to 50 meters to see whether I can reach the target at all. Aiming as high as the overhanging trees will allow, let's full auto this mag. At a distance of 50 meters, I managed to get 3 shots from an entire mag on target. The rest all fell just short of the target at around 49 meters. My 300 feet per second blasters can't actually reach the target at all from that distance, with every shot falling at least 45 meters short. So I'd say going from 300 to 430 feet per second has gained a tiny bit of range of around 4 meters. Let's take it back inside and discuss what we've observed. So first of all, the idea that a higher velocity gel blaster will have worse accuracy than a lower velocity one seems to be not the case. This one here seems to have about the same accuracy as a 300 feet per second blaster at both 20 meters and 30 meters, while shooting 130 feet per second harder. What I did find interesting though is the very small gain in distance when using a higher velocity blaster. In the past, I've fired a 300 feet per second blaster from 50 meters, aiming about a 45-degree angle, as much as the overhead trees would allow. And the furthest shots of those landed about 45 meters. This blaster here, shooting 430 feet per second, so 130 higher, has only gained about 4 meters of range. I think the limiting factor though is the weight and size that gel balls are. Gel balls only weigh 0.2 grams and have a diameter of 7 to 7.2 mil. Even in airsoft, where they have a smaller, more aerodynamic 6 mil projectile, no one in their right mind ever uses something as light as a 0.2 gram BB. I'd say gel balls slow down pretty quickly once they've left the barrel, and higher velocities don't really help that much with longer ranges. If you could somehow have heavier gel balls without increasing the diameter, you would improve both accuracy and range. But because the majority of the weight of a gel ball comes from the water it absorbs, there's not really a way to do that. So at least from my testing, while I didn't see a decrease in accuracy going above 300 feet per second, I didn't really see any point in going above 300 feet per second. But this is just one test of one blaster. So if you agree with this, or if you don't agree, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, click on my profile icon to subscribe to the channel, and here's 2 other videos that you might enjoy. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.